He texts you every day for 2 weeks. Good morning, good night, voice notes, inside jokes. You start to believe this is going somewhere. And then, silence. 3 days, nothing. You check your phone 47 times. You replay every conversation. Did I say something wrong? Was I too much? Then your phone buzzes. It's him, and suddenly the relief feels like love. But it's not love. One day he is fully present. Then his replies get shorter, the warmth disappears, and you feel him pulling away. But just when you begin to accept it, he comes back and gives you enough attention to question everything again. So you keep asking, which version of him is real? The answer is both. And the inconsistency between those two versions is the answer you have been trying not to accept. You are not confused because he is impossible to understand. You are confused because your nervous system is trying to create safety inside a pattern that is not safe. If someone is consistently unavailable, leaving hurts, but the situation is clear. Inconsistency is different because every good moment resets your hope. The affectionate message after 3 quiet days, the perfect date after weeks of uncertainty, the sudden vulnerability just when you were ready to walk away. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement. When a reward arrives unpredictably, the brain can become more focused on getting it again. Imagine a slot machine in your living room. Most of the time you pull the lever and nothing happens, but sometimes, randomly, coins pour out. Not enough to make you rich, just enough to keep you pulling. That machine is not making you lucky, it is making you addicted. Does this relationship feel like a slot machine? You are not only attached to him, you become attached to the relief you feel when the distance ends. That relief can feel like love. This is not romance, this is wiring. Instead of asking, why does he keep disappearing? Ask yourself, what is it inside me that keeps hoping this time will be different? Sometimes what you call chemistry is your body moving from anxiety back into temporary safety. The connection feels intense not because it is deep, but because the contrast is so strong. After enough inconsistency, you stop experiencing the relationship and start monitoring it. You reread messages. You notice how long he takes to reply. You search for the moment when everything changed. Eventually, the question becomes, what did I do wrong? Self-blame creates the illusion of control. If you caused his distance, maybe you can fix it. Maybe you can become less emotional, less available, more patient, or easier to love. For some women, this feels familiar because love was not always predictable growing up. Maybe affection depended on someone else's mood. Maybe you learned to scan the room and work for closeness. So inconsistency does not immediately feel like a reason to leave. It feels like a problem you should know how to solve. And that is the trap. Every time he returns, you feel rewarded for waiting, even though the same painful pattern keeps repeating. Love should not require you to abandon yourself to keep receiving it. This is where many intelligent women get stuck. They treat his best moments as proof of who he truly is, and his disappointing behavior as a temporary exception. He was distant because work was stressful. He canceled because he was overwhelmed. Perhaps those explanations are true, but when the exceptions happen repeatedly, they are no longer exceptions. They are the relationship. You are not confused. You are conditioned. Potential is often a promise you are making on someone else's behalf. A relationship should not be judged by its most beautiful evening. It should be judged by the emotional reality you live in most days. Do you feel chosen, respected, and safe? Or are you waiting for the next good moment to prove the painful ones meant nothing? Maybe he is avoidantly attached. Maybe he fears commitment. Maybe he cares but lacks the emotional capacity to show up consistently. Maybe he enjoys having access to you without being ready to build something real. You may never know the full reason, but the reason does not change the impact. You can have compassion for his wounds without volunteering to be wounded by them. You can understand why someone pulls away and still decide that being repeatedly pulled toward and pushed away is not healthy for you. Healing begins when you stop asking, "How can I make sense of him?" and start asking, "What is this doing to me?" Because empathy without boundaries becomes self-abandonment. The most useful question is not, "Does he have feelings for me?" He may have feelings for you. The real question is the way he is capable of loving me enough for the relationship I need? Feelings are not the same as capacity. Someone can miss you and still be unable to choose you consistently. He can care about you and still create a relationship in which you feel chronically uncertain. He can mean what he says in the moment and still fail to follow through. So ask yourself, if nothing about his behavior changed over the next 6 months, would I still choose this relationship? Not the version you hope is coming, not the man he becomes on his best days, this exact pattern. Your honest answer is your clarity. Stop treating every new message as fresh evidence. One affectionate evening does not erase weeks of inconsistency. Look at patterns, not moments. Write down the facts without explaining them away. What does he repeatedly do? Do his words match his actions? How do you feel before and after contact with him? Decide what consistency means to you. Clear communication, follow through, emotional steadiness, plans that actually happen. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for enough predictability to feel safe. Consistency is not boring. It is safe. Communicate your need clearly once. You do not need to convince him that your standard is reasonable. Then observe. An explanation is not a change. An apology is not a pattern. A promise is not consistency until it is repeated through action. So the next time he comes back after disappearing, ask yourself, is this the love I would want for my best friend? Because if the answer is no, and you already know it is, you do not have to keep participating in the cycle. Stepping back is not punishment, it is protection. Here is what nobody tells you about walking away from inconsistency. The first week is the hardest. You will wonder if you made a mistake. You will miss the highs. You may even miss the anxiety because your body became used to waiting for the next moment of relief. But then something shifts. You wake up one morning and realize you have not checked your phone in hours. You are not analyzing the last conversation. You are not waiting anymore. And that peace, that steady, boring, beautiful peace, is what real love actually feels like. You do not need to teach anyone how to treat you. The right person already knows. The goal of healing is not to become so detached that you never care. It is to become safe enough within yourself that inconsistency no longer feels like chemistry, and anxiety no longer feels like a reason to try harder. Sometimes closure is not one final conversation. Sometimes closure is believing the answer you have already been given. If this helped you see your situation more clearly, like the video, subscribe to 1001 Relationship Facts, and turn on the notification bell. And in the comments, write, "I choose consistency." Let that be the promise you make to yourself today. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next video.